Hey boys, this is a true story about a real man named George Washington. George Washington was a military general, an army general. But he was not just any army general. He was a leader who carried faith in his heart during one of the hardest winters of the American Revolutionary War, when Americans were fighting for their liberty. Can you believe that the top military leader in the entire United States Army believed in and loved God and tried to follow God? So you're not the only one who believes in and trusts in God. George Washington did too. The place where George Washington and his men were camping was called Valley Forge. It was winter. Imagine this: 11,000 soldiers, cold, hungry, sick, and short of warm clothing and food. Now, before we go on, do you know what the word Providence means? It's a big word Washington used a lot. Providence means the belief that God watches over people and over all nations, like a protective hand guiding things we cannot control. Washington wrote and spoke about relying on providence. He quietly trusted that God could help them through the winter and to win this war, even though the enemy they were fighting against was the strongest military in the entire world, and George Washington's was a small, weak force. But George Washington knew that his army had God on their side. They prayed to God and believed that their cause was just. So George Washington made sure his army had the spiritual and physical support they needed. He even invited chaplains to serve with the troops. Chaplains were special soldiers in the army who helped other soldiers learn how to pray, to learn the scriptures, and learn about God. These chaplains and George Washington's own faith helped the soldiers keep hope. Hope is like a warm blanket for the heart when the body's cold, and that's what they needed. Have you ever been cold and hungry and felt like giving up? Washington felt that pressure too, but he kept going. But it was so cold and so difficult because he didn't have the provisions and supplies that his army needed. And nearby were the enemy British troops. So George Washington wrote letters asking for supplies. He checked on the huts where his men lived, and he stayed with his men through the winter, loving them. People say that George Washington searched for quiet moments to pray away from other people. Do you have a place to ponder and pray away from other people? Maybe you like going into your backyard and finding a quiet place in a tree house or under a tree. Wherever you go to pray, God listens. Eventually, George Washington's army won the war, and it was because of Jesus Christ who helped them. He helped them win battles, get supplies, and stay hopeful. So boys, when things get tough, when it's cold or scary, when you feel small in a big problem, you can follow George Washington's example. Pray. Like George Washington, real men. Pray and have faith in God to help them. And when you pray and trust God when things are hard, you will be a real man too.